Today's gathering of the Climate and Clean Air Coalition in Paris will probably not make headlines in global newspapers. That is really an event which fills me with optimism, because I believe it's an event that will save many lives. Most people know somebody who died from cancer, and cancer is in all likelihood the disease which is creating most uncertainty and fear for many people on the planet. We have a loss of 8 million lives a year, and the fear is all over the place. It's understandable. But when was the last time somebody told you that they know people who died from air pollution? Yet the death rates are similar. There are 7 million people dying or dying prematurely on the planet every year because of air pollution, similar number as from cancer. This also comes from the fact that we have been so successful in dealing with historic mass killers of humanity. Polio is on the verge of being eradicated from planet Earth. Yellow fever and malaria is going down very steadily. And we need to do exactly the same for air pollution as we have been able to do for the transmittable diseases. But then we need to act. We must act in the urban areas where far too many people are dying avoidable deaths because of air pollution from traffic, from lorries, from cars, which could be avoided. We must also act in the rural communities where millions still die from using smoky fuels, from heating, lighting or cooking, and simply dying because their own homes are filled with smoke. That must stop. And of course there are enormous benefits if we can stop both the pollutions in the cities and in the homes. Economies will benefit enormously, but of course much more important than the dollars we can save or the euros we can save is the impact on human beings. And then the good story. Life can be different. Technology can transform our infrastructure, and not rocket science, not technology which will only be available in 20 years, but the electric cars which are now rolled out by the big car companies on the world at an affordable price, the bike networks which we see in more and more cities, and we need to establish better metros and many more pedestrian areas to make our cities greener and more lively. There will be less pollution, but much more fun at the same time. And for the first time in history, there is now more investment in solar and wind than in coal and gas. Who thought that possible even a few years back? We are really progressing. And at the core of the agenda for the coalition, if we cut black carbon, if we reduce methane, and if we reduce the hydrofluorocarbons in the next 15 years, we can halve the predict levels of global warming. And the beauty here is we are making our cities and our homes much more lively, less polluted, while fighting the long-term threat of global warming. It's exactly the same times and with exactly the same methods. The benefits for our economies, for our environment, for the planet, but most importantly for human beings are enormous and massive. And this is why the Climate and Clean Air Coalition gives us cause for optimism. Not just for the UN environment, which I represent, or for the 100+ partners around the world, all the businesses, all the civil society organizations, all our sister agencies in the UN, all the actors who want a better planet, but most importantly, of course, for the average man in the streets of Beijing or Buenos Aires or Paris. We can reduce poverty. We are the first generation in human history who can reduce poverty. At the same time, we can improve health, transform and make our transport system much better. We can clean our energy, and we can secure a better future. We can very simply secure the planet and make life better for people at the same time. When we have achieved that, we can relax and breathe easy.